Hello, this is Rita, and this is me and my mommy's podcast, and then my mommy, and there's me, and I'm just talking about this stuff, and there's me tap dancing because this is a tap dancing slash autism podcast, and there's a bunch of animals, and I'll be trying to eat my hair, and there's a bunch of sand in the ocean. Also, there's all the soul talk stuff. I love all my ninjas and babes. And also, yes, like life stuff and tap dancing. Oh, and also there are my boots. My boots are amazing. Also, there's me, trying not to have a panic attack. Also, this is a podcast about me, autism, and tap dancing, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just ADHD in this thing. Also, there's my cute, adorable puppies.
Welcome to another Friends Friday here at Leta's Tap Styles. Jack Elvis has decided to join us as a co-host again over there with Leta. Today we have Murphy Monroe as our guest. I have tried introducing guests in the past. It sounds absolutely terrible when I do it. I go monotone. So do you mind introducing yourself, Murphy?
No, I'm happy to. Well, let's see. I'm 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 kids, and a awesome wife who's learned to get to know me better and better over time and helped me become more and more myself over time. I've had a successful career in both higher ed and in corporate America. Ultimately, to have much of it fall out from underneath me as I realized more and more about the price, the toll that that kind of work was doing on my body, on my mind, on my ability to just be myself. And so it was really a later in life autism diagnosis, or really confirmation, that just changed everything for me, and has brought me to a really lovely place, and where I've been able to change my career substantially and change my life substantially, and slow things down, and every day try to be more and more my authentic self.
I don't think very many people understand how crazy the world of academia is.
For sure, it really is. I worked for a large arts college in Chicago, and I started off working as a admissions counselor, and in many ways, because of my affinity for numbers and my affinity for memorization, I went as a young person from being an admissions counselor to the director of admissions to the assistant vice president, and it just became a whole thing. And before I knew it, I was responsible for more than my nervous system could handle.
I have plenty of friends who are professors, and they're like, people think all we do is go teach class. And it's like, it's a whole different ball game over there in academia.
Sure is. Sure is.
Um, you talk about being diagnosed as an adult with autism. What is it like living with a late diagnosis like that?
So, I mean, the diagnosis, which really in many ways came as a confirmation, was just a gigantic relief for me. I mean, I growing up, from as early as I can remember, I knew that I was substantially different than everyone else around me. I knew that I thought different, that I had different kinds of thoughts, that I had a different speed of thinking. I knew that I was just so much more affected by everything around me than anybody else. And I knew for sure that there was something about me that was really different, and I did not see this as a good thing. At the time, I really saw this as a big secret that was really important. Nobody else find out about me. This is in the 80s and 90s where, there was a fear of institutionalization, and a fear of not being able to get my way to college and through college and wanting to be able to have a career, but feeling like if anybody knew, if any of these people around me, my teachers or my parents or anybody, my friends especially, if anybody knew what was really my circumstance, I would have all changed in a really scary way. I feared. And so I really kept it in my pocket and just continued every day to try to prove to the world that I wasn't autistic. And the deeper I got into my career, the more and more I tried, and sometimes got better at it, and or maybe just fooling myself some of the time. But when I finally had, a medical professional look me in the eye, and not even before the entire uh yeah, and just say, Murphy, you're autistic, you're autistic, like, come on. And just to hear it as a grown man was just a wash of relief and a sense of it's like shame, uh, just kind of away from me, and um a new label, right? A new way of thinking about myself, and a new way of um managing myself, of being gentle with myself, that yeah, has made my life just much different and um, profoundly better.
I can kind of understand. I was diagnosed younger, and my therapists were like, don't even tell your parents what we're diagnosing you with
Right.
because you're good enough. Just mask, mask, mask. And then this one's yelling at me on a regular basis that I need to be authentic with myself. Would you like
Mhm,
to jump in here on that one?
mhm.
Washington, Washington. Lily, history class. Lily, did you learn nothing in that part of history class? Lily, Washington. Lily, there's no king and queen. There's freaking president. Nobody's freaking royalty here. Then why did anyone? Seriously, you're putting all them to shame.
That is her version of we shouldn't bow down to anyone or listen to what they think.
I think I heard that. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
I'm kind of excited to see this younger generation being able to be so open and authentic about their autism.
Yes, about so many things. And yes, and to be able to actually just, and then the people following them, and they're going to be educators one day. They're going to be the ones in our classrooms, and then they're going to be the ones, and it's just doing the diagnosing, and they're going to be the ones leading the research efforts, and leading the organizations, and yeah, it'll be a better place for a lot of people, as that cycle continues.
Oh, definitely. Um, we had talked a little bit about how you felt as a kid. And if you're okay, we have a lot of parents who are big on, I don't want to label them because I don't want to destroy their lives. They know they've gotten all the way up to getting that diagnosis and then they back off. As if you're okay answering this,
Anything.
what would
Yeah.
it have would it you think helped you a little bit more as a child if you had had a label to go, "Hey, I'm not insane. I just have this thing called autism."
Yes. And insane is a hard word, but it's the right one. It is really the thought, as a young person, that my destiny, if people found out, was somewhere institutionalized or homeless, or it was a scary thought in my head. And so thus this gigantic secret. And I would beat myself up all the time over not being able to do a better job paying attention in school, not being able to show my work, not being able to write things legibly, not being able to finish reading a sentence out loud and remember what the beginning of the sentence was by the time I finished the end of the sentence, and um, not having control over my body in a classroom or even control over my bowels in a classroom, and so many things and labels that I put on myself and others put on me. And at the very least, boy, was I lazy. And at the very least, boy, did I have a really big procrastination problem. And at the very least, I was obstinate, often called split. Um, and it was none of those are fair or true labels at all. And the label that I'm very happy to carry, was happy to get, I'm happy to have, because it's who I am, and it's a you know autism isn't a disease. Autism, is a neurotype. And there's a whole lot of people who are autistic and a whole lot of people who have other neurotypes that represent in similar ways to autism. And the more it is commonly understood, and the more we're able to get into the heads a little bit of those around us who are living different interior life than people think they're living, is really important. It's just it's really important. And I'm so now, I prefer people know I'm autistic. Last job I interviewed for, that's what I went into the interview process with. And it's how it's a privilege to be able to do that, of course. But to me, it feels good. It's what I want new people I meet to know, so that I can be more myself in front of them, and have more fun being more authentic, and less energy in my head pretending to be something that I'm just not and never was.
I'm still struggling with the idea that I can be authentic. And I mean, I give it to this younger generation you're like, I have a thing to say. Would you like to say whatever you're thinking, Leta? I don't think the dog is talking.
He might have an important thought.
Yeah. What's your thought, Leta? She's like, it has been a long day around here.
It is hard to feel authentic. I mean, I know there's it's a hard thing to talk about, but if you look at the homeless population in the United States, 16% of it is likely autistic. There really isn't other groups other than addicts who make up such a large portion of the autistic population. We make up 2% maybe of the real population. And this happens not because of an inability to do things. There's also a far higher rate of people choosing to end their lives who are autistic, 1 in 9 of adults. And this is because of spending a lifetime pretending to be something that you're not. Spending a lifetime of, masking, of every day in and out, making it your full-time job to hold your body a certain way, to make certain kinds of eye contact, to try to keep a certain vocal tone, to try to keep a certain vocal volume, to try to hold your body still, to try to not blurt the words out as soon as they come to you. And the more you do that, and the more you make up excuses for why people notice other things about you, the further and further you come from yourself. And people lose themselves in that. People lose a sense of who they are, and then trying to unearth that and trying to be authentic with people. But it's hard because, what is that exactly? And how do I find it? And how do I how do I trust it? How do I get other people to trust it? It's like scary, vulnerable territory. And
It really is.
yeah, and yeah, but good to be able to name it. Yeah, absolutely. And good to know that Leta, and Leta's friends, um, hopefully, and I think very likely, are going to grow up with an excellent sense of self.
I am
And
very hopeful.
yeah, and boy, is that that alone is just so powerful.
You were
You're
talking
good.
about the voice. Leta, you've had experience with people talking about your voice. How has it made you feel when they're talking about your tone of voice?
Can I say curse words?
Preferably not, but I'll bleep them if you do. Go ahead.
Well, I hope this is curse words.
But no, like when adults have come, because it's been mostly adults telling you you need to change your tone of voice, has it not?
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck all of you.
Okay, so there will be some bleeping in this episode before both sets of grandparents call me.
But I would have loved to have said those things at one point in my life to people who thought that the way my voice sounded was more important than the thoughts that I had. Because it's hard. It's so hard. And for people who are, I was as a kid and as an adult, I'm hypoverbal. But for those, I'm hyperverbal, excuse me. But for those who are hypoverbal, um, or nonverbal, uh, um, it's just even harder. Because you're not even able, even if your thoughts are coming out not understood or not appreciated because of how they sound, the tone, the volume, the pitch, the range. If it's not those things, uh, um, yeah, it's just it's tricky for sure. And it's not fair. It's not fair. The assumptions we make about what people are thinking, and the assumptions we make about people's abilities to think, is yeah, it's hard. And we need to make room for people to use their voices however their voices sound, however their words come out. And if they don't come out as spoken words, and they come out other ways, then we gotta treasure those words too, and make space for them and make time for them to be in the space. And Lita's got, I'm certain, a lot of things to say, a lot of um, so much, and um, being it's finding the trust in people. It's really it's just a battle, and of course, I can't speak for Leta in any way, and I wouldn't want to. Um, but being told that your voice isn't right or isn't welcome or needs to be changed, it's just wrong. And it takes something away from people, and um, yeah, unkind for sure.
She had dance teachers who autism, while it's been around forever, that 1943 thing is if as long as you just ignore the Germans had stuff, I guess 1943 is when autism existed. I've spent way too much time in academia, obviously.
Yeah.
And, ADHD goes back to 1786. So it's been around a while, people. I'm getting tired of hearing this is new. But she had dance teachers who were like, well, she has a higher pitched voice and she has autism. So she must have the mentality of a 3-year-old.
Right.
Am I way older than my age? Or way younger than my age? Because this 8-year-old's body older than an 8-year-old's body. I guess we don't give a damn about the person who gave birth to the child. And all the medical history, legal documents. We don't give a damn about the U.S. documents that are legal, good Lord.
It's a sensitive topic, obviously.
Yeah, but right on. Yes.
She
Go ahead.
She had dance teachers who, at the same time, because she was so good in dance, she must be older than she is.
Yes. Yes, of course. And our body doesn't represent us, and our voice doesn't represent us. We need our words to be, or our thoughts, our expressions to be able to represent us. And it's really challenging when you know, your body or your voice or anything about you may make you seem different than the expectation. And then people just start taking things away from you. They take away your intellect. They take away any assumption they have about, how smart you are or how sophisticated your thoughts might be, or even like the worth or value of your thoughts, even if they are sophisticated. And it's it's one of the hardest things I think about uh, getting deeper and deeper involved in disability advocacy and understanding the lives so many disabled people live, because so many of them are shut off just because of all the walls people put up for them, because of the assumptions that we make. And after a while, it's hard to keep fighting those assumptions every day and keep fighting that. And after a while, you just get quiet about it. Uh, and boy, that's hard.
I was asking Leta if she'd ask about your advocacy work, and she was like, "But that sounds stupid to me because we shouldn't have to have it. It should be
Right
just
on.
something that people."
It's so true. This is what I'm saying all of the time. Yes, right? Like, so in my town, I live in Evanston, Illinois. It's just outside of Chicago. And so just a couple of blocks from my house, there is a really lovely apartment building that has about 40 or so units in it that have been specifically designed for people with disabilities to live in. So they rent them privately. They live there. Most of them are in a chair of some sort. And so 3 blocks away from them, from that building where, 40 of these folks live, is a Walgreens. And they're not able to ride. No one who lives in the building is able to ride in their motorized wheelchair from their building to the Walgreens because of the cracks that exist in the sidewalks. And it's a busy street there. And so like the one place, you got to get to the pharmacy. It's the local place to get milk. It's just critical. And they just can't because of sidewalks. And I'm often explaining this to people and explaining why, like, we have to have all of our sidewalks repaired so that our neighbors can access things. And the just basic level of non-care or understanding of even basic infrastructure things and how it's just not okay for all citizens to not be able to have access to their local hospital or their local train station or their local pharmacy. And the idea that the obstacles that stop people from getting there are literally built up by us. They're literally things that our government or our schools or our neighbors built that oftentimes are literally blocking us, blocking people from getting where they need to get to do the most basic things, to have the most entry level to our society and culture. And so, yes, Lita, like, of course, like, why should anybody have to do that work? Why should anybody have to? All of us, every human being will end up disabled if we're lucky, right? If we're lucky, we'll end up disabled.
Yeah.
And if we're all living in those shoes and we all have elders and it's just hard to understand why we don't just all immediately demand a world, a culture, a society, a built infrastructure around us that works for everybody. And it just gets so lost. And it shouldn't have to be that way. And maybe generations down the road, it won't be that way. I don't know. Um, Mainstreaming kids, I believe, has had a big role in starting this change. The town where I live continues to this day. All the vast majority of kids with disabilities are bused to a, single school only for them, which serves them really well in lots of ways, but hides them from all of their neighbors and friends and local kids, and creates a real sense of difference that doesn't have to be there. Um, if we don't know them, if we don't grow up with each other, then how do at some point we understand that we all need to be able to be on the sidewalk? It's just me. It's there's just so much change that still needs to happen.
Uh, Very true. We're kind of doing the exact opposite with her dance studio, Autistic Wings. We're pulling some of the good kids out too from other studios who are like, yeah, you've othered me. I've been bullied to death. I'm either going to leave dance or I'm going over there.
Yes,
But
but you're doing it for all the right reasons and in a narrow way, in this like creative form. The arts are meant to be like creative, and one cannot be creative. One can't be an artist unless they're comfortable, unless they're confident, unless they're like able to take risks and look dumb. If you can't take risks and look dumb, then you're not going to be able to be really creative or get to a great place as an artist. And so it makes all the sense in the world to me what Leta's doing, wanting to create a space where people can, learn what. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of Leta dancing. It's quite something, and for others to learn in a space that becomes safe, I think is crucial and enviable.
and we're also going to have we're hoping as we're building up to have at least 2 shows a year, a recital and a summer intensive where we get autistic people from around the country to come in for a week or 2 weeks and put on a show. Because one of the top trending hashtags on TikTok on a regular basis is autistic kids are always funny when they dance. You want to
Oh,
take your opinion on that one, Leta? She's giving a look. She's like, no, you don't want more cursing, mom. And
of
that shouldn't be the trending hashtag for
right.
autistic kids
Of
and
course not.
dance.
Of course not.
Okay, go ahead, Leta.
All I have to say is next thing you know, they're gonna say, "Oh, hey, somebody died. That's funny."
Right.
But
Yeah.
if it's you, it is funny at that point because you probably died stupidly, anyways.
Yes, I hear that, Lita. That yes, that resonates for me. If you don't get it, um, yeah, people are lost about it in many ways.
They are. And I think having the space safe for them to learn, where we are bringing in, we've got some therapists we're bringing in to help us with how we're actually teaching, how we're presenting vocabulary. Because most dance classes, they dump like 15 vocab terms on you at once and then expect you to remember it the rest of the season.
Exactly
Turns out
right.
that's not how the human brain learns.
Yes, and
Oh.
in dance, we're learning choreography, and choreography lives in our bodies. It doesn't just, live in our brains. It lives in our bodies, and people learn their body. So most autistic people lack interoception, which is how our body talks to us, right? How our body tells us things and how we connect back to our body. And if you're lacking interoception, then living inside choreography or really connecting the choreography between your body and your brain is a challenge. Um, and so creating a space where there's room for people to learn that choreography and to get it into both their brain and their bodies in a way that's going to work for them makes a lot of sense to me. I was a theater kid, and I'm still a work in theater now, and taking a lot of dance classes, and really have always struggled. Um, and so when you see someone like Lita, who just intrinsically talented, it's special.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, theater is just filled with people on the spectrum. Let's be
Sure is. Sure
the
is.
creative spaces are, and how these teachers in the creative spaces don't know this and are like, oh, you're my first autistic person. I highly doubt.
Yes. And have you
This is
thought
just
about going in to be diagnosed?
uh, or have you asked all your dancers? Because I
Right.
guarantee if you've the kids who were not picking on her on purpose, they were
Mm.
just repeating what teachers were saying.
Sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Kids say things, and it's quite different than when adults say things.
You want to say something, Leta, on that?
One child knew she was doing it completely. I'm not letting that child go away with anything. One child knew completely. I don't care if she was younger than me. She knew completely
I'll
what
give
she
you
was freaking doing. I'm not letting her get away with anything.
All right. Well, you would know.
You would know. But a lot of the other ones, it was them parroting. Let's see if I can talk today. What the teachers were saying, because they're like, "Oh, did you know Leta can't read? She's dyslexic, and like she's must be a baby because she doesn't. The words float on the page." That's not something a high schooler is picking up anywhere but an adult. Or, "Oh, her voice is so babyish." Well, she must only have a 3-year-old brain.
Yes, and yet I know politics better than you, even though you're the adult, and yet I'm higher on like everything. And I can actually outrun any single dinosaur from Jurassic Park again. You would be the ones being eaten by a raptor. I mean, they wouldn't eat you, but still.
You have
This
she
is
did.
also true, right? Autism necessary to evolution. And probably would have been outrunning the dinosaurs, perhaps.
Well, and she's grown up. I'm involved in politics, so she's grown up in politics. And, most high schoolers don't know what's going on in politics. Most people don't
Yes,
know what's
that's
going on in
correct.
politics.
Most people is right. Absolutely. Yeah, and to be able to engage in ways that people wouldn't expect to engage, and then to just assume that that type of thinking doesn't exist, or maybe worse, isn't even possible. Is just, yeah, I would call it cruel, really.
Right. And she gets to hear my opinion of people since I work where I work. I get to know them personally on both sides of the aisle, and what I think of their politics may not be what I think of them.
Sure. Yes, of course.
I'm sure you have the same.
Absolutely. Universally. And I think everybody.
Hi, I'm Leta. I'm 13 years old. I have autism and severe dyslexia, and my mentors are Chloe and Mon Arnold, and you shall see a picture of them. And also, I love, love, love Urban, and I love, love, love Hollywood, and I love, love, love my puppies. And also, it's all about being my autistic self, and also I stumbled there, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, these days.
I think some of the kids she knows and some of the teachers she knows are like, no, their politics are like who they are. And I'm like, there are some people that I may agree with their policies, but you don't know what they are like behind closed doors.
Yes, that's right. That's right. No doubt.
I did want to bring up, you've got a circus school. And you said you have neurodiverse kid or adults and students in the circus school. How is that working out for everyone?
Yes. So the truth is, it's a work in progress, even for an organization led in part by someone who's autistic. So we're a circus school. We teach professional circus and recreational circus. We have kids' summer circus camps. We teach about 1,000 students a year. We also put on theater productions that use circus at the core of their storytelling. And just as you were saying, just like theater, just like dance, circus draws a neurodiverse group of people to it. And I think circus in particular, partly because of the repetitive nature of learning circus. There is no way to learn how to, walk across a tight wire without doing it and falling off of it, umpteen times over and over and over again, and to keep getting back up, and then to fall, and to keep getting back up, and then you're burning your feet, right? You're getting your feet raw and bruised, and you fall, and then you got to get back up, and you don't show a lot of signs of getting better for quite a while. and that repetition that it takes to learn something, juggling anything it is, um, isn't easy for the average person. And so I think part of it being a safe space in the creative arts, and it being safe, it being a creative occupation, but I think also it being one that really values repetition and consistency is, I think, another good part about it. And so we've, over the last few years especially, have had more and more of our adult students and more of our parents coming to us and saying, hey, can you help make this better for me in this way? Can you help me with this accommodation? With adults, it's often been, I don't understand why you have this kind of policy. It doesn't really work for me. Can we talk about why you do that? And can I attend class in a little bit different way? And could I have a chance to meet the teacher earlier, or all sorts of things that for adults, it's very possible to do. For kids, trickier if we're not able to identify it, sort of understand the need, make the space for it. Um, and so we're learning and growing as an organization about this. We've been doing um, training inside on disability, and we've identified an outside organization to work with us on um, both making our curriculum more accessible for everyone, but also on creating a specialized curriculum where we can bring circus instruction at all levels, specifically to autistic communities, and allow for that as well. And so that's where we're trying to get to. And I think hopefully a lot of organizations like us are trying to get there too. But it's tricky. And, a lot of people would think that, the autistic guy would come in day one and be like, hey, this is how we should do it. But it's not simple. And but at this point, the organization is pushing me more than I'm pushing the organization. And that's exactly where we should be. And so it's good. And hopefully in a year from now, 2 years from now, we'll have meaningful changes and a specific curriculum that we can share um, that, is exciting and
I
important.
can't wait to see what you guys worked out for it.
It's fun. And, it's really brave. The adults who come to us and said, hey, we've had a lot of people drop out. Most people you just don't hear from, right? If something isn't working for them, if they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel safe, they feel mistrusted or don't trust you, they'll just stop going. You're not going to often hear from people. And so when we do hear from adults who say to us, hey, there's just this accommodation I need because this doesn't work for me. The way that teacher explained this, I want you to understand how I heard that. And so when people bring us that information, it feels like gold because you don't always get it. And if we can make little changes or big changes that make people more likely to stick around, to me, inclusivity is when somebody shows up, walks in the door, and upon walking in the door, immediately feels a sense of the potential for them to be included. Maybe not instant inclusion, but the moment you walk in the door, there's just clear potential. Clearly, this place could be for me. And there's a lot of things that you have to do in order to be that kind of place. And mostly it's listening and being willing to change and adapt as you go.
That is an oddity.
Yeah, right. That's to me, an organization needs to be like a person. It needs to be able to hear. It needs to be able to listen. It needs to be able to apologize. It needs to be able to make changes. Needs to be forgiven. All of those things I think are no different. Everybody's growing, and institutions and organizations, big or small, need to be growing and changing. Especially since things change so quickly now. We're learning so much about neurodivergence, and we're learning so much about autism in particular. And the more we know, the more we're responsible for doing. Right?
And we're realizing so many of those. Lita, just pull your arm out from underneath him. The dog sat down on her arm.
Uh,
Just
and
move
I
the
have that
couch
situation,
cushion behind him.
or I'll have a cat fall asleep on my arm, and then I don't want to lift my arm because I don't want the cat to move.
She's over there struggling, going, I can't get. He's only like 63 pounds. And now you made
It's a
me
good
lose
sized
my train.
dog.
He is a little bit on the porky
I'm
side.
not. I'm not breaking my arm just to get it back. I could break myself, and you shouldn't even be mad at me every time I almost break myself. So like.
Yeah, okay. Don't throw mom's words back at her. But
Maybe break yourself isn't perfectly literal.
Yeah. I am impressed though, because what you said with the instructors and you guys listening and taking in what everyone's telling you they need. I know that was one of our biggest reasons for starting Autistic Wings was I could talk to her dance teachers until I was blue in the face. And then they'd be like a year down the line, well, if only I knew that was the accommodation she needed.
Yes. Yeah. And it's oftentimes not even the accommodation, it's them believing in the need for the accommodation, or so frustrating. So frustrating. Yeah. And, hopefully organizations continue to adapt. And, as you create Autistic Wings, right? And people start to recognize, and as students show up and other organizations will see, they'll see that there is both talent in the community, but also that there's specific ways that they can be treated, talked to, that their environment can be built so that they can thrive as much as everybody else around them. We can
That's
thrive
oh
as
yeah,
much
we
as everybody else
definitely
around
thrive.
us.
And I mean, it's not even that much that we're asking you to change in a lot of these situations.
Right. Yes. Yes. Maybe dim the lighting a little bit.
Yeah, Lita has an autoprocessory disorder. Sometimes if you're talking straight to her, her brain is not deciding it likes words that day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
it's like, it's a dance class. Show her what you want her to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of teachers who are like, I don't get why she can't just listen. It's like, but
You don't need to
that's
get it.
wasn't,
And
yeah.
let's just
And
want to
it's
tell
like,
them you don't need to get it. You just need to acknowledge that it's true. And
you're
behave
giving me
accordingly.
a look.
Yeah, it's
He
hard.
has some opinions on this subject, obviously.
Yeah, well, you should. Yeah, right to those opinions.
I am so excited to see how this generation takes over from us because at some point in time, we're going to have to pass the baton to them. And I think they have the world is their oyster.
Yes, indeed. I think that's right. And hopefully, the other thing about, creating creative spaces for autistic people is that just creates more autistic art. And we've seen plenty of evidence, that autistic art can be genius, can be special, can move people, can move like societies. It really can. And so the more spaces we create, for people with all sorts of disabilities to be able to truly express themselves through the arts, the better our art becomes. And art is in many ways what creates culture. And so I think it's also a good news what you're doing. It serves all those ways so well.
I'm trying not to do spoilers because we kind of have insider information on what's happening in Wicked too. But they have
Ooh.
Narissa Rose, who is going to be, Wicked Witch. She's still mad because you can say it into your microphone quietly.
Hello, yes, if you know who you are, I'm still mad about that tap teaser. I will hit you as hard as I can on the back of the head.
Let's
so
not
it'll
get
make-
violent. Okay.
No hitting.
She was a little annoyed that there was just a little bit of tap in Wicked.
Yes. Just a tiny bit.
But the actress, is actually wheelchair bound. And so she may have suggested some changes to Wicked Part 2.
Mhm. All right.
And having, someone who's from the community come up and go, yeah, there's a few of these things we need to kind of switch around.
Yes. 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 Good for you for
I-
speaking up, Leta. That's cool.
It wasn't her, but
Okay.
someone else the actual
Yes.
actress who
Yeah.
was like,
Well, that's amazing.
this is, and we got told because we know people on the production going, hey, you're going to be excited what we changed. I have a
Oh,
feeling
that's
some
cool.
theater goers are not going to be as excited, but I'm hoping the differently abled, the disabled community will be
Totally.
cheering quietly in the theater, not to annoy you.
Great. That's great.
But
Thanks for sharing
yeah,
that.
it should be exciting in the end. But it's the fact that it's taken this long to have someone who is actually wheelchair bound playing Narissa Rose is just
Yeah.
outrageous.
Yeah. Representation matters big time. And, disability remains one of the areas where we see at least.
It truly does.
Mm.
I know I promised you like less than an hour. I could keep talking, Murphy. She could probably keep picking up her microphone and being a little opinionated. I'm excited you're opinionated. That's kind of what podcasting's about.
Sure is.
We would love to have you on the podcast again.
Okay, absolutely. Of course. This is super fun. I've enjoyed listening, and I'm happy to be part of your journey for sure.
Wonderful. And I would love you to come keep our listeners and our viewers up to date on how your autistic circus programs are coming along.
You got it.
That made sense in my
Absolutely.
head.
Yes. Nope. You've got it perfectly right. The organization's name is the Actors Gymnasium.
Right.
If anyone wants to look it up, and can learn more about me at murphymonroe.com.
We will have those links in the in the description below. Boy, my brain just
Awesome.
decided to check it. It's like
Yeah.
it wants to have its ADHD moment now. Is there any way they can help support you in other ways with the circus and with the autism community stuff you're building up?
Oh, that's so nice. So the Actors Gymnasium is a nonprofit organization, and please have a look at it. And an organization that is worthy of and needs support for sure. As far as connecting with me, through my website, folks can connect with me, and I'm happy to share parts of my work. I'm happy to connect with people. Or whatever it is that I can do that helps us all together push things forward, I'm open to.
I will grab the link to your guys' donation site because every 501c3 I know is struggling
You
for
got it.
donations right now.
You got it. You got
And
it.
we will
Thank
make
you so
sure
much.
it's in the description. Honestly, if you've got $5, $10, $15, $20 sitting around, go support a great organization. I'm assuming you guys also have monthly and annual donors if people want to do that.
We do. We have, we do. In our case, all of our donations go straight to scholarships for students with need, and will help us enroll more students, and will also help us to build the kind of programming that we're talking about today. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I know when I'm doing the budget, because I love numbers. I got my degree in math and physics. So the board's like, you get to do the budget. I'm like, yay, that's not exactly the same. But monthly donations do help me budget a little better because I know, it's
Absolutely.
coming every single month.
A reliable cash stream is important for any kind of business.
I'm guessing you guys also have like levels where if they donate a certain level, you'll do extra stuff like put their name
We
on
do,
stuff.
yes. And they can see that on our website, and happy to talk with people individually about those types of things too. It's really nice of you Thank you. This was so much fun.
I muted myself again. It was a blast for us. Was it a blast for you, Leta?
This is the cinnamon roll, and I put stuff on his head, and now he has a teen time wolf on, and this is the real black cinnamon roll. This is a cinnamon roll. It will chubby cinnamon
He does look like a cinnamon roll when he curls up.
Donuts are my favorite food, and cinnamon rolls are my second favorite food.
He curls up like a little cinnamon roll, so he got his
I see
nickname
it.
cinnamon roll.
I see it.
He's not about to be happy because he's about to be fasting in a couple hours because he's
Oh.
got to go get blood drawn tomorrow.
All right. Well, good luck, buddy.
He's like, I'm not sure about this. It's just his annual. He has anxiety because even puppies can have anxiety, and he needs his anxiety meds. And it's
All right.
the annual. Let's just check his kidneys. We definitely want to have you back on. I'll reach out, or you can even reach out to me when you're like, hey, I'd like
Sure.
to jump back on the program.
Awesome.
Thank you
That's
so
great.
much.
You're
Like I
welcome,
said,
Leta.
thank
So
you.
nice to meet you, Leta. Congratulations on all the cool stuff you're doing.
Can you say thank you?
It's a cinnamon roll. It is chubby, and it's good. I gave it a little crown.
Honestly, that is her version of thank you some days.
Yeah. I'm
She has
certain of that.
invited you to be part of the puppy's life. That
Yeah.
is your thing with her.
Absolutely. I'll take it.
Thank you so much, Murphy.
Yeah. Thank
And
you both.
we'll see.
Absolutely.
Hello, thank you for watching the podcast, and please subscribe, and also look at that adorable paper. So if you want to subscribe for it, and also please leave a like, and don't forget, if you subscribe to our stuff, you won't miss any of our new podcast stuffies. And also, did you see that adorable paper? Don't you like it?